My name is 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 issue of non-halal certificate slaughterhouses in Malaysia. A little bit about consuming halal food or product. So consuming halal food not only as obligation for Muslim but also as means of demonstrating obedience to Allah SWT. So that halal certification is really essential nowadays because it's a process that ensure the fairness and quality of products in accordance with the Islamic Council's rules that allow the use of the terms in halal. Besides, halal slaughterhouse certification can be used to ensure that the animal-based raw material remains halal until it reaches to the consumers. The certification also only available through the halal certification process and requires halal slaughterhouse certification. That's why halal certification is really important to the slaughterhouses in Malaysia.
This is the first issues of non-halal certificate for slaughterhouse in Malaysia, which are although the slaughterhouse do not have a halal certificate and are not registered. This issue is about a slaughterhouse that has no halal certificate and is not registered to 𝗀𝗫𝙂 in Johor. 𝗀𝗫𝙂 acknowledged that the footage of the chicken slaughterhouse in Pontian was contagious because it was purposely done in questionable manner and without halal certificate. When contacted, a 𝗀𝗫𝙂 representative claimed that a team of officers went to the slaughterhouse to conduct an inspection in response to public complaints. It was then discovered that the centre lacked a halal certificate and claimed to exclusively ship chicken to stores that did not offer halal certificate of chicken meat.
I would like to explain about illegal slaughtering activity regarding to a slaughterhouse that operate their business illegally. This article is about a slaughterhouse that was operated illegally for almost 20 years. Based on the article, it said the residents has already lodged a report about the illegal activity, but they only need to shut down their business for only 2 weeks as for the penalty. It causes a dissatisfied among the residents. They want the slaughterhouse to close their business permanently. Due to their illegal slaughtering activity, they also cause an inconvenience amongst the residents. It is because they do not find a wastewater treatment plant. It causes a bad odor and inconvenience among the residents. They also operated inconsistently and were not well managed by the owner. They left the slaughterhouse dirty and do not keep them clean. It is really not good to do a slaughtering activity with that surrounding. It is also against the halal guidelines and regulation. They operate the slaughterhouse illegally because they know that their business does not follow the right halal regulation and guidelines. When they did not register the slaughterhouse, it's considered illegal even though they slaughtered halal animal such as chicken. It is important to operate a slaughterhouse legally because from that people know that the business is certified. When a slaughterhouse meets the guidelines and regulation, it is confirmed that the slaughterhouse is follow the right ways to run a slaughterhouse.
Next, I would like to talk about issue on the article that I had chosen, which is a poultry slaughtering and processing facility which is located at Batu 11 Segari Manjung Perak that was raided by enforcement agencies for using a forged halal logo on product packaging. I would like to explain some facts regarding of this issue. So first, the premises had used packages with fake halal logo without a JAKIM recognized halal certificate. Second, the overall inspection of all employees involved in poultry slaughter processing does not have a certificate of credentials and is not supervised by FARAH Islamic Religious Department, or known as 𝗀𝗽𝗻. Besides, the authorities will basically conduct a premise inspection in terms of product processing, such as handling, storage equipment, and distribution, which is required procedure before the halal certificate is approved. However, there is no valid evidence that the premise operators have a recognized halal certificate or permission to use halal information on their products from Department of Islamic Development Malaysia, or known as 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, misled buyers by displaying slaughtering certificate belonging to local in order to persuade every buyer to buy the premise products, while the slaughtering of chickens is done by the foreigners. So we need to raise concerns about various aspects of hygiene and safety.
Assalamualaikum. My name is FARAH ERINA binti Muhammad Yusof. I'm from IC 120582, and now I will continue with the last issue that related with this topic, that is Malaysian cartel allegedly sold fake halal meat to Muslims for 40 years. This issue was published on December 2020 by South China Morning. This article was focused on a warehouse that sold fake halal meat to all Muslims. The warehouse was located at Senai, Johor. In this case, the meat was moved to warehouse in Malaysia, where it was combined with halal certified meat and repacked with bogus halal markings, often by passing inspection, and no one will know if the meat is fake because it already repacked to the safety packaging. The meat being smuggled include horse, kangaroo, and even pork meat, which were mixed and sold as halal certified beef. And after these cases already investigated thoroughly, there have been 4 suspects remanded to custody.
There increases chances of closing the slaughterhouse with no register. The goal of this system is to increase halal certification, process productivity, provide precedence to halal certification applications from the industry, and serve as a database of firms, businesses, restaurants, hotels, and products. Slaughterhouses also need to apply for a halal certificate to continue selling to the Muslim community. If the halal certificate is not registered, 𝗃𝗶𝗵𝗄 will take action until the store forced to close. With halal certification, it will increase the confidence of consumers. Consumers will have more faith in a product or service offered by a food establishment if they have followed the guidelines specified by the Islamic hygiene standards and laws.
As for the finding research, the slaughterhouse must be far from the residential area. It is because to avoid any inconvenience among the residents and to build a peaceful surrounding, so that the residents and the owner can have a good relationship together. The second one is also provide a place to throw all the residues after the slaughtering activity. It is to prevent the residues from scattered and also from the animals such as dogs and cats.
So next, I will move to the final research of this issue. So the government and related agencies must do their part to strengthen the regulation and requirements enshrined in legislation and standards, like continuous monitoring, auditing, and surveillance that can be carried out at ports, slaughterhouses, meat-based food factories, logistic operators, and retail premises. Last but not least, most importantly, the slaughter who in charge directly in production or slaughtering need to earn bits of knowledge and an accredited skill, so the process will not obtain any doubt and the poultry are safe to consume, especially for Muslims. That's all from me. Thank you.
The last point research is ensure that the slaughtering process follow the Sharia law and free cross-contamination. How to make sure the slaughtering follow this step? First, we must use Malaysian Standard 1500/2009 as a guideline for a proper slaughtering process. The example of requirement that contained in Malaysian Standard, such as: first, the animal to be slaughtered must be animal that permitted in Islam. Second, the slaughtering knife or blade shall be sharp and free from blood and other impurities. While to avoid cross-contamination, we must be careful when handling the slaughtering. For an example, halal frozen meat-based product must be suitable, packaged with packaging materials that are declared as acceptable by Sharia law and comply with halal packaging standard in order to maintain the food safety and quality. Okay, last but not least, the conclusion is halal slaughterhouse is very important for all Muslims to guarantee that the meat that they eat meets halal requirement. This is because only when halal slaughtering, it combines the factor of hygiene, nutrition, and ensuring that the animals are halal and safe for Muslim consumption. Other than that, slaughterhouse should prohibit the consumption of pork and alcohol and must perform halal animal sacrifice in a specific manner that respect cultural belief, traditions, and animal welfare in all aspects of their operations. So that's all from us. Thank you.